Hello, 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 everybody. Hope I'm not too bright. 1 second. Looking at all my business in the background. Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Can you all hear me okay? So, let's see. Can you put a one in the chat if you can hear me? Please. Take my mic. Yeah, I think I'm okay. Can y'all hear me? I see people in here. Let's see. Mute, unmute. All right. Well, I'm gonna start talking and I saw okay, cool. Thank you. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. So my name is Drew Thompson. I am a fashion designer, and I own a fashion design studio in Cleveland, Ohio. But I also have gone more into the coaching space, in which I help entrepreneurs figure out different marketing strategies. So for the last couple of years, I've been doing some coaching, just trying to help other people out. When I first started my business, um, I just didn't know a lot of things, and I really didn't have anybody to really reach out to because my business was so unique. So I kind of took it on myself to begin coaching people like me. So a lot of times we coach creatives, but business is the same. It's the same formula, no matter what industry you're in. It's always going to be the same formula. So that is what I started to do to be able to help. So today we're going to be talking about like being seen online because like everybody flipped out last week about TikTok and going off like that. So before we get started, though, I would like to know where everybody's tuning in from. So if you could put in the chat where you're tuning in from. Um, let's see, where is everyone tuning in from? So we're here in, like I mentioned, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, but and it is cold, cold, cold. We are in the middle of the winter time. So if everybody wanted to tune in where they're coming from, and we can begin there. But the what inspired this room or this webinar was, like I said, when TikTok went to their ban, everybody, I was really surprised to see a lot of creators um, who only use TikTok because their one form or their one platform. I was really surprised at that. Even I'm not a full-fledged creator like some of these people, but I'm on different platforms, so I'm able to go but back and forth between Facebook and YouTube and maybe TikTok. But I was really surprised to see that. So a lot of people were having a hard time with the ban, and my hope for them is that they would go ahead and try to come on to some other platforms, because like TikTok or like any of these apps, we don't really know what's going to happen. So that being said, we can just talk about some ways that you can foolproof your business against these algorithms and against these shutdowns and all this good stuff. Um, Algorithms change. So we just came out of an election. We know that kind of affect the algorithm with some of these platforms. Different things, words are getting shadow banned, and terms and tag. The first they said hashtag was okay. Now hashtags aren't okay. So stuff is always changing. But I think I can help you all with some things that you can do to still get your business seen online and still get your product out there. So, one of the first things we want to talk about is just adapting. So, you want to adapt to your reach, and there's some things that you can do as a business owner, as a person that's online. A lot of my clients, or a lot of people I see, they like to post something online and then they don't engage. It's very important to engage. You have to go back. If you post something, you have to go back and talk to your followers, because I think you realize that, especially on Facebook, when you talk about, when you mention something, it bumps it back up. So you sometimes, if I realize I forgot a comment, I don't care how far back it is. I'll go back and comment on it, and it'll bump it back up a little bit. So I don't know who's actually getting paid for Facebook, but all that stuff counts as engagement. So if you go ahead and keep reaching out and keep talking to your customers about, or speak on your post about what happened, or if it's the recomment, that counts as engagement. And right now, that's what Facebook really, really wants. They want to keep people on their app. They don't want people going on the TikTok or fake Instagram or anything like that. So that's why they started kind of paying people for that noise. That's why they started paying people for engagement, because they want people on that to stay on the app. So just think about that. So don't just post stuff and leave it. You have to post it, maybe go back, respond. Even if you have to go back the next day, just respond to your clients. I know sometimes I get busy, but I will go back into my professional mode and see what comments I left out of. And I might just take an hour every day and go back and click the comments and respond, because that all counts as engagement, and it makes people feel like you're engaging with them too, because at the end of the day, whatever you're selling, they want to feel like they're in a community. There is a difference between the Facebook business page and a Facebook personal page, but that's a whole nother room. Something we could talk about that another time, because it's a little bit complicated the way Facebook changed things. I talk about Facebook a lot because that's what I'm on most. I haven't had that much luck with Instagram. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Threads. I'm on all these apps, but the ones I've been really working on right now is just Facebook, because those are the ones that I've been seeing the most gains. So these tips can be used for any social media. Everybody has their own little quirks. Some things you don't want to bury, so you can't post too much on Instagram, because if you post, say you post them at 8 o'clock, you can't go post at 9 o'clock, because now you're telling Instagram that what you post at 8 o'clock isn't important anymore. So you have to be mindful of how many times you post on Instagram, how many times you post on LinkedIn, Twitter, and TikTok. I think those apps are okay with you posting a lot, but you have to be really mindful on how many times you post. You have to be mindful of where your customer is, what they use. Um, and we're going to talk more about numbers and stuff and like that in a minute. So just being able to adapt to your customers and keep relationships. Um, you want to diversify your content, so you can't always just keep posting flat pictures, flat pictures, flat pictures. And I don't know if you noticed on Instagram now, I think before you could post, I think it was 10. I think you could do like 15 pictures now. And you can mix pictures with videos. So you can do a picture, a video. So as they swiping through, they're seeing like different stuff. So that's something you could do to kind of mix up your content and get some more eyes on your work. Um, Obviously, we know that TikTok is all videos, reels. And Facebook is trying to push you to get reels now. And if you're part of the professional mode, you'll get paid for reels, you get paid for stories, you get paid for some of everything now, except for shares. So if you share something from somebody else, Facebook is not considered that your original content. So you're not going to get paid for it. The person whose original post, that's who's getting paid. So keep that in mind when you're sharing on Facebook. So, like I talked briefly about numbers, when you on your, so you want to look at your numbers. You can go into your analytics, or sometimes you can click where it says insight, so you can look and see who's looking at your stuff, what age group, what they liked, what they didn't like. Surprisingly, I don't know how. My business is primarily to women. Most of my women take sewing classes. Most of my clients I sew for are women. I do sew for men. I do teach some men in sewing, but I'll say 80% of my clients are women. But strangely enough, for the last couple weeks or so, men have been the main people watching my engaging with me on my Facebook. I don't know why. So that's something I have to figure out how to work on. Um, I'll post different content and I look and see what people like. And it's not necessarily what they like, what they're responding to. You also want to see what's getting the eyes. So of course, when I post my fashion content, everybody likes that. And when I post about Beyonce, for some reason, people really like it. So have to go back and figure out how to post about Beyonce, but still talk about business and make it work for me. So if you notice, if you follow me on Facebook, you'll see that I talk about Beyonce, but I also talk about it in the business way to still, get my message across about business or get my message across about fashion and still talk about Beyonce the two to get those that engagement. So pay attention to your numbers. That's important. Another thing I think people should do is worry about an email list. Like you really have to work on that email list. If you have a website, you can get emails from there. If you do events, you can get an email sign-in sheet. You could use depending on your website, you can get your emails from there, or you can create an email list from MailChimp. And that email is very important. I think I make a lot more sales in my email list than trying to cast this broad net on social media, because people that's on your email list has already bought into your mission. They bought into what you're selling. They bought into your services. So those are already people that's one step away from quote unquote buying what you're selling. So I find a lot of success with my customers that's in my email list. And you want to get into maybe segmenting your list, and so you're not sending the same list to the people over and over and over, because I'm guilty of that. So I did have to start segmenting my email list because people will start leaving. But definitely email list is something that you want to work on getting if you don't have one already. I say that's where the money resides, in that email list, because that's where you can really double down and really get customized with talking to certain people. And a lot of times you might know who they are too. So um, if you haven't done so, you definitely want to work on an email list. Uh, and then we that goes on to say that if you have your own website, really surprised also when I see people don't have a website. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate, but that's another way of like controlling your audience and controlling your story, is having your own website. So even if you are on Facebook, even if you're on Instagram, it's still important to go back and maybe have a website, because, like we just seen, Instagram goes down, Facebook goes down, TikTok went down. You still want to have a way to be able to talk to your clients. So if you don't have a website, that's definitely something you want to consider to try to move around these apps. And what's cool about a website is what I really got into is like SEO, search engine optimization. And I've really gotten into that on my website. So I've been able to really use keywords and different things to be able to direct my audiences to my website. One cool thing I've started doing a couple, maybe years ago, is when I put a picture. That's a tip for you guys. If you get a picture and you're uploading it to your website, make sure you label the picture. Don't just leave the number 0567891. Actually label the picture. So you left click it, rename it Black Shirt by Drew Christine. You want to name those pictures because that's going to all help with your search engine optimization. So you'll get bumped up more in the search instead of just being a number. So that's just a little tip that I like to share with people about SEO. Um, got one other section that's really helpful. I think people forget about, like all the different ways you can market your business that people don't even realize. Google My Business, that's been something that's been very helpful to me. And I get a lot of clients off of Google My Business. So if you go to just Google My Business, and you want to go ahead and put your product or service on there, you want to go on there and update it. I post on there probably every other day if I can. You post maybe some of your specials. They ask about your hours. They ask about all kind of different. Excuse me. They ask about all kind of different things about your business. And I get quite a few clients from Google My Business. Eventbrite. So that's probably how some of you all found my event. I post quite often on there. Next door, don't sleep on next door. I get a lot of clients off of next door, and it's pretty interesting too. I'm on next door a lot. LinkedIn, obviously, that's an app that's coming back around for business. I kind of like LinkedIn because I'll get on there and read. I try to make myself read on LinkedIn probably about 30 minutes a day. You learn a lot. You learn about what's going on locally. You learn about business stuff. You learn about what's going on in the world. So I do really enjoy LinkedIn. Um, and something else we could talk about a little bit. Maybe I'll do another room on that. SD, Amazon, selling on all those different places. Then that's another way that you can push your brand. And that is actually one of the things I talk about in my book, Market Marvels, and I do have information about my books in the chat. Market Marvels, that's my first book, and I wrote about teaching businesses how to market their business in ways they never thought of. So some of those tips that I just gave you in this first half of this webinar are tips that's in my book. And just for watching today, I offered everybody 10% off. So if you go to my website, if you click that link down in the bottom, I have a page and you can go take a look at some of the special offers that we have for tonight's webinar. So the books are on there, 10%. I'm offering some mini coaching sessions, offer those for a discount. And some free resources there you'll be able to click on and get some of that information. There's also information there to join my email list. So take a look at that. Let's see. I think I got one more. So did anybody want to ask any question or anything so far? It wasn't going to be a long webinar. It was just a couple of things I wanted to go over, and I hope it was helpful. Does anybody have any questions that I can help them with? I'm definitely interested in doing that. Do I have something? There it is. Huh. Any questions? Oh, Mr. Visible. Okay. Let's see. Trying to see if anybody got any questions. Well, I could do a quick review of what we talked about because I did see some people come in a little bit later. Um, and just like I said, we're talking about ways to keep your business visible online. You want to do some I can't talk, some social social media audits. So sometimes you go on your website just to make sure everything works. So I made the weird mistake of changing my phone number a couple months ago. And so when I changed my phone number back, I didn't realize I didn't change it everywhere. So I had to kind of go back and find there all these different places to change my phone number. So those are little things you want to do to make sure everything's matching up. If you have a Facebook business page, you want to make sure your hours are all matching up. So you go check and make sure all your hours are okay. Um, you just want to do little audits of yourself because as business owners or people with services, we don't see what the customer sees. So we do have to remind ourselves to sometimes go back to our websites and check on everything, make sure our marketing is up to date. If you have a logo, you want to make sure your logo is on all your information. So every time your customer sees your logo, they know your brand colors, they know everything that you always looking at. So even now, if you look at the top, you'll see my logo is there. My logo, this is the same logo I've had 12 years and I use it everywhere. So it's on my website, it's on my Facebook, it's on Insta, it's everywhere. It's all over the place. So you're gonna always know that DC is somewhere around. You have logo colors, just you want to be able to go to your website or your Instagram somebody can tell exactly what you're doing. So those are just little social media audits that you want to do to help. Even though these algorithms are going crazy, you still want to just show up online the same way. And if you go to some of those websites I told you about, Instagram, Nextdoor and Google Business and all those places, you'll be able to show up those places as well. Um, so one of the things we talked about, I'm gonna just do a quick review since we don't have any questions. Um, Building relationships with your clients. So, like I said, if you can't just post and walk away, you have to be able to post, stay there. Um, if somebody asks a question, you want to click like on a comment. You want to just scroll down and occasionally comment on your followers' post. So you can't just ever post something and just walk away from the social media. That's just not how that works. Um, it's a give and take. You have people sometimes. I just follow everybody back. Some people gets weird about that, but I don't care. I just follow everybody back. Now if they start posting weird stuff, I might unfriend them later on, but for the most part, I do try to correspond with my followers and click a like or ask a question or something like that. So that's something you want to consider. Take time out your day to do that. And I know it's a lot, but that's how you're going to get engagement. That's how you're going to build community. We talked about diversity in your posting, so you want to go a combination between photos and videos and carousel posts and reels. And again, I know it's a lot, but you can learn how to repurpose your content, and that's something I can help you with. So also in that link below, I did talk about a free discovery call, and maybe we can have a talk about how we could work together in the future. And in my coaching sessions, I do help clients figure out ways to creatively market their business. A lot of times they have everything in place. They just need somebody like me to look at it and tell them, yes, no, this worked, that doesn't work. And it's been pretty successful. I had a client from Houston, and she had everything she needed. She just needed somebody to kind of tell her and hone her in on how to get everything done. So now she's up and running with her business. She's confident. She's marketing her business properly. She's getting the proper pricing. And it's all because she did a couple sessions with me, and she, just started believing and trusting herself a little bit. So if you do want to figure out how we can work together, go ahead and click on the link in the chat for a 15-minute discovery call, or you can go ahead and book one of my mini sessions that I discounted. Okay. Let's see. We talked about email lists, and I cannot stress the email list enough. And I don't, you got to build an email list. You have to. I mean, because now more and more, I'm also noticing these algorithms and these, if you notice, it's getting more and more ads. It's something going on with my Facebook now that as soon as I go on there, there's an ad at the very top of the page. So you got to get your email list together, because that's the only way you're going to be able to really. Oh, I'm hitting my. Is that my computer? Sorry about that. That's the only way you're going to be able to talk to your clients, express your own story, and that's what you got to do, because now it's all going to be all about paying and getting ads and boosting and all that. And who wants to be bothered with that, especially as a small business owner? The second part of the email list is making sure you have a website. Doesn't have to be anything elaborate. They have so many templates and easy ways to create websites that you don't have to do anything elaborate. It's so much easier now than probably even 5 or 10 years ago. So a website is also something that's important. And once you get that website going, you'll start thinking about SEO and labeling your photos and different things like that. So these are all things I can help you guys with if you're interested. And definitely make sure you reach out and give me a holla holla. We talked about the different ways you can market your business. We talked about Google My Business. We talked about Eventbrite. We talked about, Facebook groups. I forgot to mention Facebook groups. The one thing that I don't think you noticed about Facebook groups that you can do in other places is that you can post links and it won't get shadow banned. For some reason, when you try to post links on your main personal pages, they get shadow banned. But when you're in these small little groups and you can post a link, you're way more, it's going to get visible because now you're in a community. So think about finding some groups that, that's kind of close to what you do. Some business groups won't let you post links and stuff like that because they wanted you to pay. But like I've joined like some community groups, so I get a lot of business in there, similar to Nextdoor. That's another app I told you all to look into. Um, LinkedIn, I told you to start jumping on there, and that's just to keep you updated, know what's going on, read, know what's going on in your area, know what's going on in business. That's very helpful. And I think that's it. We talked about my book, Market Marvels, which I think is very helpful for anybody. And you can go ahead and hit that link in the bottom, and you'll get 10% off the book. There's no coupon code needed. I also have a small business audit. It's a checklist that which you can go through everything and do some things I told you about. Check your website to see if your colors are all matching, if your logo is matching, if your brand is all matching. And all these things are going to be helpful for you to get you seen online more than having to just rely on social media. And I think that's it. We were waiting to see if we had any questions. Nobody had any, but you can join my email list. And if you have any questions, you can definitely feel free to email me. And you can follow me on Instagram at Drew Christine, on Facebook at Drew Christine, on TikTok. However long that's going to still be up at Drew Christine. I'm here on YouTube at Hustle and Soul. But I'm a summer everywhere. So I thank you guys for joining, and I'm really excited. I'm glad to see all the numbers in here, and be sure to hit some of those links if you need some help. It's some free resources also in that link. I have a Q1 startup guide. I have a productivity guide. So it's a lot of resources I have. So just hit that link. Go ahead and order some things or join our community. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.